Hello, I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. Let's look at the lower 48. And this time of year, I'd love to start with the visible satellite loop because it's always so interesting to look at this. We see a front way off into the Atlantic and a tropical storm way at the top of that. Never did impact land and likely will not. You definitely see a flow in the atmosphere going like this. And we see an area of disturbed weather here in Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. The tail end of that front is in southern Florida. A few thunderstorms popping up, but not too many. And just kind of a general area of disturbed weather in the northern plains as well. Let's try to break this down. Take a look at the 500 millibar flow. First of all, this is a broad, what we call a cyclonic flow or low pressure flow in the northern hemisphere around this disturbance up here at the jet stream level in eastern Canada. So this is providing cooler, drier air all throughout this part of the world. The actual trough of low pressure is right about there. There are little disturbances in this flow, including this little one right here, and others that are trying to get into the Pacific Northwest. That's the reason for the swirl in the clouds there, this little trough right here. And this is going to kind of ride over this and continue down the slide, as I like to call it, and keep enhancing a little bit of rain threat, some of that heavy in a few patches down through this part of the world, and we'll detail that here in a minute. Let's first take a look at the surface map. Big old cool Canadian high pressure system sitting over the Ohio River Valley, right there over southern Indiana. Beautiful air mass for this time of year. That front is all the way down, as you saw on the satellite image there, southern central Florida, which is really, really kind of unique. Warm front advancing through the plains, although not very quickly. And all the precipitation is basically moving out ahead of that front, as you would expect. Warm fronts kind of work that way, where you have flow up and over the front here, and you typically get most of your activity back on that side of the frontal system. Let's take a closer look at that here. In loop here, you see showers and a couple of thunderstorms embedded in this too. Nothing severe. The rainfall could be heavy, and we'll detail that in a minute. Let's also, we have some thunderstorms just popping up just generically out through the Four Corners region, southwest Texas, coastal areas of Texas too. Looks like they were lucky to get Starship launched yesterday because there's more thunderstorms down there around Brownsville. Take a look at the radar loop. I believe I recorded this about 4:15 Central Daylight Time. You can see a band of rain. This isn't real heavy, but it is going to regenerate and pass over the same area again. Hence, the flood watch in effect for about that same region for the southwest corner of Missouri, including Joplin and down around Monette. Into northwest Arkansas, Rogers, Springdale included in that, then all the way back to Wichita and including much of southeast Kansas. That's for tonight and tomorrow. Let's take a closer look at that heavy rain situation. Well, here's the heavy rain hazard, and the definition on this is these are risk factors for getting flash flood guidance out of any of these storms within 25 miles of a point. A lot of times when I show this to you, yellow is the first area I would concern myself with, which would be slight risk, at least a 15% chance of that happening. But in the red here, we're up to moderate now. So it's exactly where that flood watch is in effect. So Kansas, much of Kansas can expect some heavy rain, northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, and an isolated patch with that upper level system we showed you pretty much squared up over Idaho. Now, if we advance this is remaining tonight and early on Thursday, then beginning at 7 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday, this kind of shifts this way and still encompasses some of those same areas under the flood watch, which may need to be extended down into this area for tomorrow. Also, a little patch from Denver down to Colorado Springs where a little bit of heavy rain could fall on Thursday. For the next 2 days, 48 hours, here is the forecast rain areas. You're seeing pretty healthy amounts. Joplin just over 3.5 inches, 3 to 3.5 inches are reported there in northwest Arkansas. Those are just at the reporting stations. But if you look at the scale down here, the 4 is yellow, so there might be a couple isolated 4-inch patches in here somewhere through southeast Kansas. And, don't read this as the gospel anywhere in this. Just connect the yellow dots. Could see 3 or 4-inch totals over the next 2 days. Let's extend our view down the road a little bit. So this is the heavy rain hazards, basically days 3 through 7. So that would be Friday through the weekend into early next week. So to end September, We have this heavy rain area in West Texas, also on the next day, the last day of the month, shifting over to New Mexico. And then this kind of a broad 2-day event there in the panhandle of Florida, where some of the heavy rain hazards are located. And if we go even longer into the future here, we have some heavy rain hazards, basically starting around the 4th, coastal areas of Texas and Louisiana, and also into the panhandle of Florida. That goes to the 10th, 4th through 6th there in parts of Arizona, kind of a monsoonal flow there, and a slight risk also for some heavy rain the 6th through the 10th. That pretty much is coastal areas of the Carolinas and pretty much splitting Florida in half, favoring the eastern side this time on that longer range hazard. We'll take a look at the next 7 days, and you certainly see that 4-inch band. So there's more than one rain area contributing to this hazard in the flood watch area. So it could be extended to include another rain event, because you're seeing 4, maybe even 5-inch totals down there in that southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas area. Also, this is a leftover tropical system that could bring some of that precipitation again in that longer range beyond 7 days that I was talking about. And also Florida, just broad brush looking at 2 to 4-inch totals through that part of the state as well. With the exception of Fernand, which is way up here in the Atlantic and is out to sea, never really strengthened very much, disorganized, the forecast for the tropical Atlantic anyway for the next 7 days is nil, not looking at anything. Now, if we extend that for week 2 and week 3, you can see the valid dates here. September 3rd through the 9th is the top chart. And boy, it takes sometimes a long time for my pen to react. There it goes. And then the following week, week 3, September 10th, which is historically the peak of hurricane tropical storm season, by the way, going through the 16th. You're seeing the main zone activating, especially toward the middle of September here, with a greater than 40% chance of tropical storm development. That's a long-range forecast, to be sure. I was looking at the European model of tropical storm probability maps, and these aren't real high probabilities, mind you. These are 10 to 20%. But what I was more curious about on this was the fact that there's one there and one there. So I think that the waves that are coming from east to west off of Africa might show some signs of increasing. So that's, again, probably the reason why you saw that increase in week 3. This would be valid Sunday the 7th, so just at the beginning of that period. We have gone now through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names on the Atlantic name list for this time of year, with Gabrielle being next on the list, but it sure looks like we're going to wait for a couple more weeks before that name becomes a reality. Let's take a look at this temperature pattern. This has really been unique here. The high temperature departure, that's for tomorrow, Thursday. Much of the country in green or blue, meaning that's a below normal reading. The high temperature where I live here tomorrow, 69 degrees only. A lot of this, of course, is cloud and rain-cooled air. But look at how much of the country is just experiencing below normal temperatures. If you see the yellow and the orange, it's slightly above normal. And then the numbers are the high temperatures at the actual cities. So Miami would be 91, pretty normal for them. Maybe a little hot in West Texas there, or at least south of Lubbock, or south of Amarillo, rather. Lubbock, 96 degrees. And mostly in the interior sections of Oregon and Washington, a little toasty. That remains the same if we slide ahead to Saturday now, but still a vast majority of the country is below normal in temperature, with only that chunk in the northwest and maybe a little bit of fringe activity there above normal, not a whole lot. And then on Monday, again, about, I'd say 2/3 of the country still experiencing below normal temperatures, heating up a little in the northern plains as the pattern shifts a little bit. And the final 2 graphs I'll show you. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So this starts Tuesday of next week and goes through the beginning of the following weekend. And it shows a pretty high confidence of a 70% chance of below normal temperatures right in the nation's heartland there, but hot in the northwest, continuing that pattern that we're seeing. And then precipitation-wise, the highest confidence is in the Rio Grande Valley area, West Texas, parts of southern Arizona, and New Mexico, seeing a pretty high confidence there. Looks like that's probably a 50-60% chance that they think that'll happen of above normal precipitation in these areas right here. Thanks for watching this edition of Weather to Watch. It comes out every other day, or as the weather necessitates. Please remember to share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, or at the very least, like what you just watched. Thanks.